what Medicaid actually covers versus what people assume. Most people think Medicare will handle long-term care because it's medical, but that's where plans fall apart. Medicare is great for hospitals, doctors, and short rehab after a qualifying hospital stay. It does not pay for custodial long-term care, help with bathing, dressing, eating, toileting, beyond brief, limited rehab windows. That everyday help is what drains savings, and that's where Medicaid steps in. Miss this distinction, and you risk burning through assets before you even realize there was another path. Medicaid is the program that pays for long-term custodial care when you meet strict financial and medical rules. It can cover nursing home care in every state. Depending on your state, it may also fund assisted living or home and community-based services through waiver programs, but access caps and wait lists vary. That variation is the first thing most people miss. States run Medicaid under federal guidelines, so the core ideas are similar, but the details, income thresholds, asset limits, exemptions, and paperwork are state-specific. Let's break it down by setting. Nursing homes. Medicaid routinely covers long-term custodial care when you're medically eligible and meet financial criteria. Assisted living. Some states have waivers that help with services, not room and board, and slots can be limited. Home and community-based services. Waivers can fund in-home aids, adult day health, and respite, but approval can be slower and availability depends on budgets and wait lists. Translation. Nursing home coverage is the most reliable lane. Home and assisted living coverage exists, but you can't assume it's guaranteed or immediate. If your plan depends on waivers, build a plan B now so a wait list doesn't become a five-figure surprise. Now, the financial side. Medicaid looks at income and assets. Income tests focus on your monthly inflow, Social Security, pensions, annuities. In nursing home Medicaid, most of your income typically goes to the facility as a patient responsibility with a small personal needs allowance. If you're married, your spouse at home may be allowed to keep enough income to meet a minimum monthly needs standard, but again, the exact numbers are set by your state. Assets are split into exempt and countable. Exempt assets don't hurt eligibility while you're alive, like one primary residence under certain equity limits, one car, personal belongings, and sometimes certain retirement accounts depending on the state. Countable assets include cash, checking and savings, investments, a second property, non-exempt annuities, and in some states the cash value in life insurance. We're going to go deep on exempt versus countable in a minute, but here's the headline. Medicaid isn't trying to make you destitute, but it does require that non-exempt resources get spent down before it pays for long-term care. Why does this matter? Because private pay rates for nursing homes often run $8,000 to $12,000 a month, sometimes more in high-cost areas. If you're not eligible yet, you pay that bill every month until you are. That can burn through a modest nest egg in under a year. I've seen families sell investments at a loss or cash out retirement accounts with taxes and penalties simply because they waited too long to understand the rules. Planning while you're healthy prevents panic when a health event hits, and it's the difference between control and crisis. Here's the piece that trips people. Even if you meet the asset and income limits on paper, Medicaid still combs through your last 5 years of financial activity to see if you moved money out of your name for less than fair market value. Gifts to kids, church tithes beyond a pattern, a deal selling the car to a nephew for cheap. Those are the transfers that can cause a penalty. We'll cover the Lookback and the penalty math right after this, but I want you to anchor one core idea now. Medicaid can pay for long-term custodial care when Medicare won't, but you have to qualify medically, financially, and cleanly from a transfer standpoint. If you plan early, you can convert some countable assets into exempt items, document legitimate payments, and avoid landmines. If you wait until a hospital discharge planner says, you need a nursing home tomorrow, you're stuck private paying while you clean up 5 years of transactions. Quick when you can do today. Write down where care would likely happen in your state, nursing home, assisted living waiver, or home and community-based services, and call 2 facilities or agencies to ask if they accept Medicaid and how their admissions work. You'll learn fast whether your area leans on waivers with wait lists or can convert a private pay bed to Medicaid later. That one call changes how you plan cash flow, spend down timing and documentation, and it gives you names, dates, and real answers to anchor your decisions. Now that you're clear on what Medicaid actually covers and what it doesn't, let's dig into the 5-year look back. This is the trap that quietly blocks coverage even when you meet every other rule. The 5-year look back rule, how it really works. The look back is simple on paper and brutal in practice. When you apply for long-term care Medicaid, the state reviews the last 60 months of your financial life. They're not judging intentions. They're scanning for transfers where you gave away assets or sold something for less than fair market value. If they find them, they calculate a penalty period where Medicaid won't pay, even if you're otherwise eligible. That's months of bills with no safety net unless you've prepared. What counts as less than fair market value? Gifts of any size, birthday and holiday gifts, college help for a grandchild, tithes and charitable donations if they're outside a long, consistent history, selling a car for a family price without proof of actual value, forgiving a personal loan to your son, adding a child to your bank account, and they use your funds, moving money to a trust you can still benefit from. If the value you received back isn't equal, it's a problem. Here's the thing most people miss. The review is document-driven. Caseworkers aren't guessing. They look at bank statements, brokerage statements, retirement account withdrawals, property records, annuities, life insurance cash values, and trust documents. They notice cash withdrawals, round number transfers, Zelle and Venmo payments, checks to family, and deposits that bounce between accounts. If something looks unusual, they ask for proof of what it paid for and why. Let me break down how they decide. Step 1. Identify transfers in the last 60 months that appear below fair market value. Step 2. Total the amount of those disqualifying transfers. Step 3. Apply the penalty formula for your state. We'll do the math in the next section, but the key is this. The calculator doesn't care that the gift was small or for the grandkids. It only sees the date and the dollar amount. Cold math beats warm intentions every time. Gifts to anyone count, not just to your children. That includes church charities and even well-meaning help to a neighbor. Repeated small gifts are especially sneaky. On their own, $100 here, $200 there feels harmless. Over 3 years, that can add up to thousands. And once you stack them, the penalty stretches across months where a nursing home bill is due every 30 days. Audit scope is wide. Expect to provide 5 years of bank statements for every account with your name on it, including joint accounts. If your name is on an account with your child, Medicaid treats those funds as yours unless you can prove otherwise with deposits, ownership documentation, and a clear source of funds. Property? They'll want deeds, closing statements, and appraisals if you sold within the look-back. Annuities and life insurance? They'll read contracts to see if they're countable and if any changes were made. Intent doesn't matter. You might say, I didn't know, or we did that to help family. The rules don't evaluate good faith. They evaluate transactions. If you sold a car worth $8,000 to a niece for $1,000 and can't document an $8,000 value drop due to damage, Medicaid will count $7,000 as a transfer for less than fair market value. If you wrote $500 checks to each grandchild every Christmas, those add up. Micro story. I worked with a daughter whose mom gave $200 a month to each of 2 grandkids for college savings. It felt responsible. Over 15 months, that was $6,000. Add 3 larger birthday checks and a below-market furniture sale for $1,000, and the total hit $8,500. in their state. That translated to several months of penalty. The facility bill was due regardless. What fixed it wasn't arguing intent. It was building documentation to show which transfers were reimbursed or were purchases at fair value, then reducing the total exposure. Now here's where most people mess up. They try to fix the lookback by making new transfers. Don't. Every new disqualifying transfer resets the 5-year clock on that transaction. So inside the lookback, stop gifting. Collect receipts. Build explanations. You're in damage control, not creative. Planning. Think audit mode. Freeze, document, and stabilize. Another nuance. Cash withdrawals. Medicaid hates them because they're hard to track. If you pull out $3,000 cash and can't show receipts that tie to legitimate purchases for fair value, the default assumption leans toward a transfer. Same with ATM withdrawals that don't match a pattern. If you truly use cash, start saving receipts and logging dates, vendors, and purposes. Finally, understand that not every move is disqualifying. Paying fair market value for care, home repairs, medical and dental treatment, durable medical equipment, and prepaid funeral arrangements can be legitimate spend downs when properly documented. The difference between a penalty and a clean transaction is paperwork. If you remember nothing else from this section, the look back is mechanical, the evidence matters more than the story, and you need a clean 5-year paper trail. Once they flag a transfer, the next step is the penalty math. That's your hidden bill. I'll show you the exact formula when the penalty starts and a quick way to estimate your state's divisor so you can see your risk in minutes. The penalty period formula, your hidden bill. Here's the simple math the state uses and why it hurts. Take the total value of all disqualifying transfers they found in the look back. Divide that by your state's penalty divisor, which is just the average monthly private pay nursing home cost the state publishes for this calculation. The result equals the number of months Medicaid won't pay. No appeals to emotion, no rounding in your favor. It's arithmetic, predictable, unforgiving, and avoidable if you act now. Let me show you how to estimate this fast. First, total your exposure. List every transfer for less than fair market value they could flag. That might be $10,000 in gifts, a $7,000 underpriced car sale, and $3,000 in undocumented cash withdrawals. Your working number is $20,000. Second, find your state's divisor. You can usually Google state name Medicaid penalty divisor nursing home, or call a local elder law office or Medicaid eligibility worker and ask for the current figure. It often ranges from about $6,000 to $12,000 depending on state costs. Now plug it in. If your state's divisor is $8,000, then $20,000 divided by $8,000 equals 2.5. That's a 2.5-month penalty. During those months, Medicaid won't pay, even if you're otherwise eligible. The nursing home still wants its money, so either you private pay, family covers it, or the facility goes unpaid, none of which are good outcomes. Here's the trap most people don't see. The penalty doesn't start the day you made the gift. It starts when you're both medically eligible for nursing home level of care, financially eligible under the limits, and you've applied for Medicaid. That means a gift today doesn't run out the clock unless you stay healthy and out of care for 5 years. If care is needed in year 3, the penalty is waiting for you right when the bills spike. Stacked gifts multiply the problem. 10 $1,000 gifts spread across birthdays aren't harmless when they sit inside the look back and add up. The formula doesn't care that they were special occasions. It adds them to the total and divides once. So the risk compounds across years if you're casually gifting or moving money without documentation. A quick one you can do in under an hour. Audit your last 60 months and make a 2-column list. Column 1, routine documented expenses, rent, utilities, insurance, groceries, medical bills, taxes. Column 2, non-routine transfers, large gifts, cash withdrawals, transfers to family, below market sales. You're building the raw material for a penalty estimate and, more importantly, a documentation plan to reclassify what you can. This single exercise turns fear into a checklist. Now, how do you get your state's divisor if you can't find it online? Call 2 nursing homes' business offices and ask what figure they use for Medicaid penalty calculations this year. They deal with this daily and can tell you the number or point you to the right state bulletin. Once you've got it, you can run a rough calculation and see if you're risking weeks or months. Common mistakes to avoid here. First, trying to offset an old gift with a new one. A new transfer doesn't erase the old. It adds to the total and starts its own 5-year clock. Second, assuming tiny gifts won't be found. 5 years of statements make patterns obvious. Third, delaying the application because you're afraid of the penalty. The penalty clock only starts when you apply and meet the other criteria. Waiting can trap you in indefinite private pay. There's a legitimate way to reduce the penalty that most people miss, proving fair market value. If you sold that car for $1,000 but can document mechanical issues and an appraisal showing a $1,200 value, suddenly the gift shrinks or disappears. If you paid family for care at fair market rates with a written contract and timesheets, that's not a gift, it's a legitimate expense. The difference is paperwork. If you remember nothing else, the penalty formula is total disqualifying transfers divided by the state's divisor, and the penalty starts only when you're otherwise eligible and have applied. Use that to estimate your exposure and build a plan. Next, we'll cut that risk by separating what you can keep from what counts. Exempt versus countable assets. This is where you protect the essentials without triggering penalties. Exempt versus countable assets, what you can keep. Let's make this simple. Some things you can keep without hurting eligibility, some things count against you, and a few sit in a gray zone that depends on your state. Knowing which is which lets you spend down cleanly and avoid penalties. Start with the big one, your primary residence. In many states, your home is exempt while you're alive if your equity is under a state-set cap and you express an intent to return, even if that's not realistic. If there's a spouse or certain dependent relatives living there, the home remains exempt during your life. Don't confuse exempt now with safe forever, though. Estate recovery can pursue the home after death if it passes through probate, and no protected survivor blocks recovery. We'll hit recovery later. For now, know the home can be exempt during eligibility. Plan both entry and exit. Next, one vehicle is typically exempt, regardless of value if used for transportation. Personal belongings and household goods are exempt. Furniture, clothing, basic jewelry. Burial spaces for you and immediate family are exempt. Prepaid. Irrevocable funeral and burial contracts are usually fine when documented properly. These are clean spend-down targets because they meet real needs and don't trigger penalties. Retirement accounts are where state rules diverge. In some states, an IRA or 401k in payout status with required distributions can be treated differently than one you can liquidate freely. The account value might be countable, or only the monthly distribution may count as income. This is a check your state item. Same with life insurance. A small face value policy may be exempt, but policies with cash value often become countable above a small threshold. Ask specifically how your state treats cash value. Now the countable side. Cash, checking, savings, non-retirement brokerage accounts, CDs, second properties, vacation homes, non-exempt annuities, and multiple vehicles beyond the one allowed. If your name is on an account, Medicaid will presume the funds are yours unless you can show deposits came from the other owner and you didn't use the money. That's why joint accounts with adult children cause trouble. Commingled funds are hard to untangle, and during the look back, they'll be scrutinized. Community spouse protections matter if you're married. The spouse at home can keep a certain amount of the couple's countable assets, the community spouse resource allowance, and enough monthly income to reach the minimum monthly maintenance needs allowance. The numbers are state-specific and adjust periodically. The key idea: you don't have to spend everything down to zero if there's a healthy spouse at home. Structuring assets to maximize those allowances is one of the most impactful planning moves. Here's the thing most people miss. You can often convert small countable assets into exempt items quickly and legitimately. Examples: pay off medical and dental bills, buy an irrevocable prepaid funeral plan, replace unsafe flooring, fix the roof, install grab bars, and a ramp. Home modifications that support care are legitimate. Purchase a reliable primary vehicle if you need one. Upgrade a worn-out mattress or a lift chair. These are not gifts, they're fair value purchases with receipts. Practical move today: categorize everything you own into 3 buckets: exempt, countable, risky. Exempt: home, subject to limits. 1 car, personal items, irrevocable burial, possibly retirement accounts depending on state and payout status. Countable: liquid cash, investments, second properties, extra vehicles, cash value life insurance above small limits, most non-compliant annuities. Risky: joint accounts with kids, informal loans to family, assets titled in ways that blur ownership, trusts you can still control. Risky doesn't mean illegal. It means likely to trigger questions or penalties without expert cleanup, and the fix is usually paperwork and timing, not magic. Let me show you exactly how to use this. If you're single and over the asset limit by, say, $12,000, don't gift it. That would create a penalty. Instead, spend down on exempt needs. Prepay funeral/burial with an irrevocable contract. Resolve dental work, pay for durable medical equipment, and handle home safety improvements. Keep every invoice, receipt, and proof of payment. You drop under the limit without triggering the look back. If you're married, coordinate with the community. Spouse allowances: move countable assets to the spouse as permitted. Evaluate a Medicaid-compliant annuity where appropriate in crisis states that allow it, and ensure the spouse retains enough income and resources inside the rules. Documentation is everything. Statements showing transfers between spouses, annuity contracts, and verification letters. Common mistake: selling a house or car to family below market without an appraisal. That turns part of the value into a gift. If you need to sell, get a written valuation or market comps, list it if possible, and show the sale was at fair value. Another mistake: cashing out life insurance with cash value on the eve of application, then gifting the proceeds. That stacks a countable asset and a transfer penalty. Better: evaluate whether to surrender and spend down on exempt items or keep if under the exemption. Quick win: pull policy summaries for any life insurance and annuities, note cash values and surrender penalties, and ask your state Medicaid office or an elder law attorney how those instruments are treated locally. You'll avoid surprises and can line up clean spend downs. If you remember nothing else from this section, exempt means usable without disqualifying you now, countable must be reduced or restructured, and risky needs cleanup and documentation. Convert countable to exempt with fair value purchases, never with gifts. Keep receipts. Protect the community spouse's allowances. And always think 2 steps ahead about estate recovery on the home. Timing and paperwork turn the same dollars from a problem into a solution and into approval instead of penalties. Timing strategies when planning still works. Timing decides what tools you can use without blowing up eligibility.